Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, it is so great to have you. I'm Antoinette, a New Zealander living in the beautiful wine region of Lower Franconia, Germany. So I recently made a video answering some of your questions, responding to some of your comments, and this is actually going to be a part 2. I often receive really interesting, quite lengthy messages from fellow expats asking me for tips and advice on certain topics related to life in Germany as an expat, and I accumulate some of these messages to answer in videos because I feel as though I can get into a little bit more detail. If you write to me about topics like this, don't worry, your privacy will be protected. I'm not going to be mentioning your name or anything, but I do think some of my tips and advice may be quite helpful to other expats. Anyway, I'm going to jump into that very soon. First, I would like to give a huge thanks to today's sponsor. This is a company called Bob and Brad who specialize in self-care and relaxation, more specifically home massage devices. You don't need to spend hundreds of euros per session for a professional massage when you have your own personal masseuse at home whenever you need it. All of these incredible products have been developed by renowned physiotherapists Bob and Brad, hence the company name. So I was kindly sent the electric heated massage pillow to test out. This can be used on my back, neck, shoulders, legs, calves and feet, and I am absolutely obsessed. This gift is the gift that keeps on giving. I've been dealing with annoying lower back pain lately, and this massage pillow is able to give me a warm, deep tissue massage whenever I need it. This pillow is equipped with 4 deep needling 3D massage nubs, which mimic the inward and outward movements of a professional massage. It's designed to soothe and relieve muscle tension, relieve neck and shoulder stiffness, and eliminate back pain and fatigue. Even if you don't suffer from muscle pain, who doesn't love the idea of a deep tissue massage whenever you need it? So if you love a good massage, or you're struggling with tense, achy muscles and like the idea of an at-home heated massage pillow to reach deep into those knots and tension-filled areas, then make sure you check out Bob and Brad. I will leave a link for where you can do so in my description below, as well as a 10% discount code. Anyway guys, let's jump into it. First, I just want to say I love the idea of being this kind of like big sister figure for my fellow expats in Germany. Sort of like that sister figure that I so desperately wished I had and so desperately needed when I first moved to Germany and when I became a mum for the first time in Germany. I mean, I do have an amazing big sister, but she doesn't live in Germany. So I love that I can be sort of like that expat big sister to some of you. So just bear with me for a second. I'm just going to be looking down at some of these questions on my laptop. Hey Antoinette, I'm an Australian living in Berlin, Germany, married to a lovely German guy. I just found out that I'm pregnant with our first child, and I'm feeling worried and overwhelmed because my family are obviously a million miles away and my husband's family live in a different Bundesland. So she meant a different state or like a different area. So we will be raising our child with no family around. The saying, it takes a village to raise a child, is really triggering for me at the moment. Any advice or reassurance would mean the world to me. So first of all, congratulations on your pregnancy. That is very, very exciting. And I just want to say I completely understand what you are going through, and I've been through this myself. The only difference is when I first moved to Germany and I was pregnant with Amelia, our first child, I did have Rob's family, his mum and dad and sister, living quite close by, and so I was extremely lucky in that sense. But it's definitely not the same as having your family and your support system around you. And when you move to another country, especially if it's a non-English speaking country, in our case Germany, you don't have that support system around you. The language is very foreign to you. Even if you are starting to learn the language, it is still really difficult. In my case, my in-laws could barely speak any English. I could not speak much German at that time, or Polish because they are Polish, and my sister-in-law is deaf, and so I really struggled to communicate with everybody at the beginning. As amazing and as supportive as they were, I did feel quite alone in a way. Of course I had Rob, my husband's support, but when you're pregnant for the first time, especially when you are in a foreign country, it can feel extremely overwhelming, and you just want that support of your immediate family. If you're new to Germany, you most likely don't have a friendship circle. I definitely didn't when I was first in Germany and I first was pregnant in Germany, and I get it. It's hard, it is daunting. And it's funny you should mention that quote, because when I was pregnant with Amelia, I remember reading that quote somewhere and it really upset me, and it also really triggered me because I thought, I don't have this big village surrounding me to help me raise my child. I am going to give you a few tips on how to start to build a little bit of a village, but don't focus too much on that. You are so much stronger and so much more resilient than you realize, and working as a team with your husband, you guys are going to be amazing parents. Just think about how awesome it is that you and your husband are going to be raising a multicultural, bilingual child, and you are going to be combining your two cultures to create such a beautiful, rich, vibrant life for your child. And when I look back now, being an expat first-time mum in Germany made me so strong and just so capable. And if I was in New Zealand, I would have relied so much on my mum and my family, and I didn't have that option. So I was able to tackle everything and learn how to do everything myself, which just made me so strong. And I just remember that feeling when mum came to visit me 3 months after Amelia was born. I remember feeling so proud, showing mum how independent I was with a little baby, and I remember mum saying to me that she was really proud of me and she was amazed at how capable I was, and she kind of acknowledged the fact that I had done that all on my own or with Rob together. So being a first-time mum on your own, it just builds so much resilience, and I have to say that there is a lot of support in Germany for first-time mums. So I'm not sure how far along you are. I think you mentioned you are newly pregnant, and so I'm not sure whether you have a midwife yet. You're living in Berlin, so there are going to be so many English-speaking midwives available to you. You just have to Google it and you will find an amazing English-speaking midwife who is going to be incredibly supportive throughout your pregnancy and your postpartum months. I also have a friend who is an English-speaking doula from the United States. I am not sure whether she does online sessions. I need to ask her, but I'm sure you're going to be able to find so much support, not only in your community, but also online. Midwives in Germany are so amazing. They come to your house, they look after you, they monitor you throughout your pregnancy. My midwife came to my house every day for the first 2 weeks, I think it was, just to check up on me, make sure that I was doing okay mentally, because obviously with all of the racing hormones, you are very much prone to, postpartum depression. I think up to a month or maybe even longer, you can have your midwife visit you, and they can also help you out with things like, bathing your baby if you are not sure how to do that, and how to set up your baby's crib safely, and all of these types of things. So don't worry about that. You have the support of your midwife. So make sure you reach out and find a midwife who is a good fit for you. I have an amazing village surrounding me right now. I have incredible neighbors and friends who I can rely on at any time. And I'm not saying that to make you feel bad. I'm saying that to make you feel hopeful that you can build a village, because it's definitely possible. You have to remember, my daughter is 12 right now, so this was a long time ago, and we didn't have all of those support groups for expats and online communities on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. I just didn't have anything like that. I had to like really search online, and I found this website. It was called Toy Town. I think it's still running, and it was kind of like a forum for expats in Germany. Talked about this before. I did manage to find some fellow expats living in the Würzburg region, and I reached out to them. To cut a long story short, I did meet up with a group of these ladies, and it absolutely changed my life. A few of them I actually consider to be like family. So we've known each other for over 12 years now, and it happened because I googled English speakers in Würzburg, and I'm so pleased I did that. And we also created this play group. It was an English speaking play group, and I met so many other amazing expats. And you know, you live in Berlin, so you have so many more English speaking expats, you know, surrounding you, and you just need to reach out, honestly. So I definitely recommend you doing the Google that I did about English speakers in your area. And also, you know, as I said, I have wonderful neighbors around, and I have some beautiful, amazing German friends now, but that definitely took time. So be gentle on yourself, and just, yeah, all the best for your adventures as a first-time mum in Germany. It's going to be awesome. It's not going to be easy all the time, but it's going to be an incredible adventure. So feel free to reach out to me. We are now connected on Instagram, so I hope that this reply to your questions helped you, and I hope that it's helped ease your mind a little bit. Okay, so next message. Hey Antoinette, I remember you saying the house you built in Germany is a semi-detached house. Do you mind me asking why you chose to build a semi-detached house instead of a freestanding house, and what are the pros and cons? I'm asking because my family and I are thinking of building, and we are currently looking at all options. I know that there is a housing crisis all over the world, and Germany is no exception, and it is becoming increasingly more expensive to rent, but also to, you know, build or buy a home. And so a lot of people are looking at downsizing and looking at all sorts of different options to be able to own their own home. To cut a long story short, we were originally looking at buying a house. We couldn't find anything appropriate in our price range in our area, and then we moved on to the idea of building, and so it took so long to find the appropriate property to buy and build on. And honestly, originally when we were planning on building, we wanted to build a single standing house, because when you build a home, you know, you want it to be perfect. If you're going to be going to all the effort of building a home, you kind of want it to be a freestanding home. Well, that was our attitude anyway. That was what we thought. And so we kind of didn't even consider building, you know, a semi-detached home or a row home or something like that. We just didn't even consider it until we realized how hard it was to find a decent property in the area we wanted to live in. So we were even looking at moving out into the country, and, you know, prices are a lot cheaper out, you know, in the villages. But I kind of wanted to be living in the town where I'm currently living. And so, I mean, the properties in the area we live were just too expensive. And so we actually found this really nice little piece of land right in the area where we wanted to live. The only problem, or the only catch, was the fact that we would have to build a semi-detached house. There was a house already standing, and they were just waiting for somebody else to buy the land and build a semi-detached house right next to the house that was already standing. And at first we were like, no, we don't want to do it. We don't want to build a semi-detached house. And then the more we thought about it, the more sense it made. We did buy the land and we started building, and we honestly have never regretted buying this property and building a semi-detached house. We are so incredibly happy with our decision, and we love our little semi-detached house. It is only 120 square meters. We didn't have all of the options of building a single standing house, because in Germany there are a lot of requirements, and when you're building a semi-detached house, your house has to match the other house standing, not entirely entirely, but there are definitely a lot of regulations, and you do not have the freedom that you have when you're building a single standing house. So that is definitely a negative when, you know, choosing to build a semi-detached house. You just do not have that freedom, and there are quite a few limitations in that sense. Also a negative if you are wanting to build a fertig house, like an already designed house, then you can't really do that if it's a semi-detached house, especially if you're only building one side. We had to have an architect design everything to fit, you know, the other house and make sure everything was lined up properly. It was quite a long process before the council actually accepted our design, and it's a lengthy process as well. So there are definitely negatives in that sense with building a semi-detached house. You know, the angles have to be right, just everything had to be right, according to the council, the city council. And another negative would be the fact that you are losing a bit of light, quite a lot of light, with not having windows on one side of the house because it is attached to the other house. But you have to kind of improvise and bring light in, you know, a different way. And also your house is quite long and thin, so you just have to be creative. Definitely a positive of being in a semi-detached house is the layout of the land. A lot of homes that you buy in Germany, or a lot of properties you buy are on a slope, and you have the extra cost of having to, you know, even out, you know, the hill, and that can be really expensive. And you know, sometimes, you know, the property's just bumpy. We had a very nice, flat, just easy property to build on. I love the indoor and outdoor flow of our house. The setup is really nice and simple and minimal. I definitely would recommend compromising the things I mentioned for living in an area that you really like. And also, you know, as I said, our house is not huge. It's only 120 square meters, which means I don't have a massive house to clean. It is just really easy to live in. I hope that answered your questions. I wish you all the best of luck with your building adventures. Okay, so next question, I really like this one. Hey Antoinette, American living in Germany here. I love thrifting unique clothing pieces, but I live in a small Bavarian village with no thrift shops around. Do you know of any good online options? I've tried Vinted, but I find the communication aspect difficult because I'm not fluent in German yet. So I am a good person to ask because I love thrifting. We call it op shopping in New Zealand. I am obsessed, and I know another YouTuber, Jenna from Life in Germany. She also shares my passion for thrifting and, you know, shopping at flea markets and things like that. So she would be a good person to ask too. But right now I am using a website called Sellpy, and I don't know how long this has been around for, but I only discovered this maybe a year ago, and it has changed my thrifting game. It is amazing. I'm going to leave a link for where you can check that out in my description. Not sponsored, but I would love Sellpy to sponsor me. Sellpy is so cool. So basically it's just a big online thrift store for adults, for kids. It also sells cosmetics and things like that, and you can just type in whatever you want, whatever brand you want, whatever price you want, and you will find something. And so, for example, this top that I'm wearing right now, this blouse, it's so cute. I got this for, I think I paid €5 from Sellpy. It is in perfect condition. It's from Zara, and I mean, it's so cute. And I will often do a big order on Sellpy because you can find clothing for as little as €3.50 in top condition, and even like labeled clothing you can find on Sellpy. They have so much. Honestly, it's a very big time waster, but if you love thrifting like me, you're gonna love Sellpy. I need to do a Sellpy haul because I've ordered quite a lot from Sellpy lately. They also have shoes. You can even buy new products or just very good, hardly worn products. So anyway guys, I have come to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I know that these sort of sit down, you know, chatty videos can go on for a long time. I hope you don't mind. But if you've made it to the end, you're amazing and I appreciate you so much. Before I go, I just wanted to remind you, if you are interested in checking out the amazing massage devices from Bob and Brad, I will leave a link for where you can do so in my description below. I will also leave a 10% discount code. Thank you so much for watching guys. If you enjoyed my video, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would love you to consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram and I will see you again really soon. Bye!